Welcome to your January 13th Monday Power Hour meeting. It's the second meeting of the new year, which is really exciting. I think today will be closer to an hour. I'd have less of a stack than I had last time, so we'll keep it to the hour. Katelyn, Fulton, Carly, and Claire. And so tell us how the week has been. It's been 1 week since we all last spoke. How has it been? Has it been more exciting than what it was last Monday, or the same, or worse, or what's happening?
Are the clients waking up now that the holidays are over?
My phone woke up. I got answered a lot of questions this weekend about offers and deposits, conditions, clauses. So I know stuff is like happening. Same for you? Are you getting calls, or what's happening?
I got something under asking in multiple.
You won something under asking. Congratulations.
In multiples.
How many offers? What was the situation?
There was supposed to be 3, but there just being 2.
2 offers, but they weren't holding offers. So.
They weren't holding.
So I am seeing that with one person offers, and then it creates a sort of a multiple offer situation. That was in Durham, no.
Yeah, Clarington.
Under $1 million, over $1 million.
We got $1,255,000.
See, interesting. So over $1 million, Clarington, not super urban area, getting 2 offers.
So just curious, is that client putting 20% down, or they're?
Yeah.
They're putting 20% down, and they also have something to sell. So they're upsizing.
I wonder if anyone's taking advantage of that rule change.
Yeah.
Like the first time buyers.
To get a mortgage that big without 20%.
It's still a big mortgage,
your monthly
right?
payment would be massive.
Yeah.
If it's just like that $1 billion range where I could just get it.
Yeah.
Actually do.
Yeah, it's true. I can't see people like pushing it right to the 1.5 and then only doing 5% down. That's a pretty big monthly. Yeah. Yeah, Aiden?
I see a listing for the first one that at the bottom it was saying buyer is to be liable to pay for the commission.
Huh?
Oh, so they think they're from the United States. So
What
they're
they reduced the price by 100,000. Let's say if it was worth 1.4, they sold it at 1.3, and then they said the buyer has to pay the commission for listing agent and for the buyer agent.
So Aiden in person, just for those online, saw a listing where in the brokerage remarks said the buyer is responsible for both sides' commission.
And they said that's a new trend they're gonna start.
No, don't start that trend. That's a terrible
call
trend.
it a trend. I mean, there's a lawsuit in the States where that is the norm now for buyer's agents. So when you do a BRA in the States, you're informing that buyer that they need to pay commission. That's now going to come out of their down payment. So that's going to affect, that's happening right now in the States.
And the U.S. can't put it on their listings what the buyer commission is, right?
Okay, let's not get confused about what the Americans are doing, right? So the Americans, they're not allowed to advertise a co-op commission, right? But they're going to allow the buyer agents to put in a clause saying that the seller agrees to compensate the agent, and that way they can get financing. So this fellow here that's saying that somebody's going to negotiate your own commission for the buyer and the seller, I mean, the buyer has to finance that 5% or whatever it is, so they're not going to be able to do that. So it's going to make the price less attractive to the buyer.
It's almost a mere posting in a backwards way.
It's a mere posting, but to say that you have to pay the co-op agent's commission and the listing agent's commission, that is very bizarre.
Who is a brokerage?
Yeah.
It wasn't a big brokerage.
It
must be a new one.
It can't be.
So somebody that's you know, like Brian Surhead says here, that don't be different, just be better.
Just be better at doing the same thing.
So at the end of the day, in the States, what's going to happen is just a little more paperwork, but things are going to be the same. You know, just the words going to be the same. We do the same thing. If they came to us and said, "Hey, you can't offer co-op commission," that's fine. We'll just put in the offer saying that the seller agrees to credit the buyer 2.5% commission on the statement of adjustments. Done. Right? So that way they can finance it, and so it's just paperwork. That's all it is. So basically, everything is still the same. Commission is still the same.
Yeah.
Just more paperwork. That's all.
Just how you word it.
Just how you word it. But at the end of the day, you get paid. They get paid. Everybody's done, right? So it's not the end of the day. Not the end of the world.
In the U.S., the way they do it is buyer has to negotiate for the whole commission.
You have to do that anyways, right? So, yeah. Yeah, they would put right in the offer. The seller agrees to compensate the buying agent 2.5%. And actually, in the States, it'd be like 3%.
Yeah. Sure.
And as usual, you're gonna have the fringe players that can say, "List with me, and I'll give you half my commission back." I mean, you're gonna have those guys are always there anyway. So, but you're gonna be dealing with clients that respect you and that you're gonna actually get more money in their pocket. That's the bottom line. That's why you're at the courses right today. That's why you're here today, to understand how to get the most money for your clients. That's our only goal.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
It's going to be really hard for the buyer because actually they have to have that amount of money as a cash.
That's right.
Because otherwise, because they're getting the
That's right.
That's what they do.
Yeah, and so for that reason, most sellers are going to opt to pay a cooperating commission.
So somebody's saying here that that the buyer's going to have to pay that 200% out of their pocket. They're going to have that money cash. So that's fine. So that means they're going to offer less to the seller. The seller's going to actually end up less money in that situation.
It'll be part of their math.
Reword it so it's included in the purchase price so you can actually finance it.
Right? Yeah. And they won't be able to finance it. So that's right. So you have to word it in such a way. But up here, it's not up here anyway. So will it come up here? No, maybe it will, maybe it won't. So.
We'll find out. Cool. You want to jump into some stats then?
No, let's just finish with Ryan Sear.
Oh, sure.
Oh, wow. We liked
No one
him.
likes Ryan.
All right, so those people over here, this is just my opinion. I've been around for a while, and most people I know, my generation, it's all okay. I was thinking about this on the way to the office today. So how do I'm looking at the old folks here?
I see a lot of young folks today.
There's not too many old folks left. Anyways, with the old days there, what would you do if you on January the whatever today's date is, the 13th? What would you do to get going? You would probably run some ads in the Star, ads in the Toronto Sun. Is anybody doing that anymore? I mean, I think if I'm selling multi-million-dollar homes, I bet you I'm in the Globe and Mail real estate.
I know some people that still
Right?
are.
I know that the luxury brands are probably still there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so what you get to run some ads. So why can't you run some ads with, like, how do you replace running that ad? How would you replace it today in today's world?
Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, Google.
Google Ads. Okay, now what everybody's been doing here, I believe, everybody's been Google AdWords and running leases. Why are we running leases? Why don't we run some real estate? I mean, it's as he said here, nothing's changed. Just do it better, right? But if you are the new person and you are into the social media and you are into that stuff, then by all means, that's the way you do it. But it doesn't really matter what you do. You have to do something. That's the purpose. What are you doing, right?
If you're not online, you better be offline. If you're not
online,
offline, you better be
offline.
online.
That's right. So
Otherwise,
you're
you're
in-
gonna do nothing.
Somewhere.
That's right. You're in the business. So how do you generate leads? So how else do we do it? In the past to generate leads in the old days, farming, right? I still think farming is a key point. If I look at any successful agents around here, it doesn't matter in this office, other offices, they all have a farm they all go back to. So there's always something to go back to the well. So you got to be thinking about that for your things to do. And Ryan said today, don't do anything different. Like, you don't have to cut your commission in half, or don't come up with this,
Offer referrals.
the buyer's agent, the buyer has to pay the co-op agent and the listing agent's commission. I mean, that's just a different idea. Why not keep the same idea and do it better? All right, it's not that complicated.
Building a brand, making sure people see
Build
it.
brand,
People
make
are
sure
talking
you're out
about
there.
you.
Don't be a secret agent, right? You go to your family events. I've talked to agents in the past. Did your family know you're in business? Yes, you do. Well, do you put them on your mailing list? No, I don't, because they know I'm in business. Well, how come you're not doing any business?
How come your family hasn't done business with you?
Right. So don't take it for granted, your database and things like that. But anyways.
I'll be talking about that at the end too. I've got some.
So Sirhan next week hopefully will be online, and he's going to talk about negotiations and things like that. So
Yeah,
I
so
think
I'll keep
it's-
testing it this week. If the program's not up still, then we'll find something else.
And the reason why it crashed today is he has 2.3 million people that are signed up for this event.
Yeah. So
Is that true to say?
He has 2.3 million followers, so
Okay.
I can only imagine
All right.
how many people he has that were signed up for it today. Today was the launch.
So what he said today is be the best at what you do. So if you're doing it, be the best that you can do it. I wrote down myself here, discipline versus motivation. So if people come to me sometimes say, I can't get motivated, or I need to get motivated. How do you get motivated? You create a discipline and a routine that you do. 9 o'clock, you're in the office doing something. Somebody says to you, can you do something at 9 o'clock, go to the bank or pick up groceries? No, I'm working that day. Right? So you have to just discipline. It also says you don't have to be perfect. And we're talking about this on your Instagram stuff. People do Instagram postings, things like that, and they want to be perfect. They want to be like a TV show, and you don't have to be perfect. You can not be perfect. In fact,
It's better to not be
in fact,
perfect.
now they're saying it's better not to be perfect because now it's not all sketch. It's not all pre-done. It's not all. Make a mistake.
There's no scripts. You're just in your car giving facts and
Right?
stories. And,
So that's it.
yeah,
That's my opening remarks.
Yeah.
great.
You can keep going now with your
Stats.
Okay, let's go stats. Okay, so stats I ran last night here, just to give you an idea what's going on. We've got 15,700 listings right now, total. 7,800 are condos and 7,900 freeholds, so pretty much 50-50. Of those 15,700 listings out there right now, 6,400 are vacant, or 41% of those properties are vacant. 49% of condominiums are vacant, and 33% of freeholds and townhouses, like freehold properties, are vacant. So what does that tell us? It tells us that a lot of investors on the condo side are getting rid of their properties.
Trying to.
So if you've got clients, remember about 3 years ago, we said that 1 of every 5 buyers was an investor buying an investment property, buying secondary properties. You need to be contacting those people today, saying, how's it going up? How's it going? Your mortgage, you probably bought 3 years ago, maybe you took a 3-year mortgage, your mortgage could be renewed soon, so you might want to have a discussion there. Sales right now are actually, hate to say it, but they're doing about 88 sales per day. So we've actually had a slow start. Sales are 1,064, last year's 1,300. Actually, sales are down 23%. But the good news is, or bad news, overall it's down 23%, but freeholds are down 26%, and condos are only down 19%. So it's actually switching a little bit. So we're talking about condos. Now it's sort of, it's done a little bit different. Leases themselves, we got almost 17,000 active listings out there for lease. Same thing. Are all those investors putting their property on the market? I don't know. 9,700 are condos, 7,200 are freeholds. Vacancies on leases, there's 55% of those properties that are listed are vacant. So what would that mean?
There's a lot of inventory.
Vacant home tax.
So these are, again, it's got to be investors. I'm assuming investors that are trying to rent these places are vacant.
Yeah.
Leases themselves are actually down only 4%. Condos actually are up 3%, and freeholds are down 19% for leases. So again, condo market seems to be coming around a little bit. I'm not talking about prices, just units, but it's interesting. But it's definitely a slower start than we're used to. But I think that's going to come around soon. Yeah. I think we have some distractions. Trump would be a distraction.
Yep.
Trudeau's a distraction. Ford, I heard today, he's probably gonna do a snap election in the next. I wouldn't even be surprised the next week we're gonna have a provincial election. We've got the CPI that's going to be announced on January 21st. See what that does. On January 29th, we have the next interest rate announcement. So I just wonder whether a lot of people are just sort of waiting back for the stuff to shake out.
I think so. I think it's a good word to use, distractions.
Right. Just always, so there's still all kinds of pent-up demand, but just distractions, right?
Yeah.
Which doesn't mean that you're going to stop doing all the things you normally do. You need to contact your clients, get a hold of everybody, get things rolling, get the discipline. To me, that's we talk about what do? You DM, right? You DM for business. And what would you do that every day, or when you feel like it, or are you going to do it at 2 o'clock on Tuesday afternoons?
Every day.
Or I'm going to do it at 2 o'clock every day. I'm going to do my DM. I'm going to DM 5 people a day, 2 o'clock every day.
I was even watching a YouTube video on this topic too for follow-up. They said even if you're not that disciplined to be able to do it every day at 2, if somebody just comes to your mind, like sometimes you'll just be driving and a random client will come to your mind, text them. Like as you're thinking about them, don't just put it on your list of follow-ups. Like do it that second and say, hey, I was just thinking about you. It doesn't have to say, hey, are you thinking about buying and selling? Just say, hey, I was thinking about you. I was just driving past this bagel store or something like that, and we used to talk about bagels or something. I don't know. But like if you're thinking about someone, text them as you're thinking about them instead of always trying to have it too structured if you're not structured. But I thought that was a good tip.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good. So them's the stats. Last year, what? Average price is still about $1,084,000. So average price is about the same, 1.1.
Yeah, it's 1.1. So it's
Inventory.
less for December. The entire year is still 1.1.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And somebody told me that 15,000 listings sounds like bad, but it's the most amount of listings we've had in December in the last 10 years.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, okay, good. So I thought I read that, but you're confirming, right? So when somebody says there's no inventory, something's going out there. There's lots of inventory. So
Gotta get the buyers.
It's just not the inventory that buyers want necessarily. Right?
well, again, I think they're just holding off, right? So.
Mm-hmm. Did you see in the pricing though? Detached pricing only went down, let's say 1%. It's almost flat. But condos, it's only 0.1.
From where? From years?
From last
From
year.
last year.
So you'd think that condo pricing, based on what we're hearing and all the sales, that the prices of condos would have reduced more. But according to the stats, they really didn't do anything compared to 2023. So that's interesting. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So So slower start to the year, but it's only January 13th at the same time. It's like half a month, and it's a month that we're coming off of December as well. So it's kind of expected. I saw a lot of headlines that were saying December was the worst month and doom and gloom, but that's sort of normal for a December market, right? So you have to be careful when you're reading those headlines, I think. I saw this article was from Durham talking about when the best time to sell is. So we touched a little bit last, probably 2 meetings ago, how December wasn't necessarily a bad time to sell just because of motivation and competition, things like that. And there's some actual stats that are showing still February for 2025 might also be a good time to sell. So what are you telling your sellers right now when you're meeting with a seller? Are you saying sell now, or are you telling them to wait till the spring? You're all saying to wait till the spring? And why?
I'm telling them if I see it go above 17,000, we need to get on the market.
Okay, so you're looking at listings as a
Looking at
measure?
full ladder, yeah.
Okay, and why are you telling spring, Curtis?
Well, I say, just from December till now, usually we start to see activity pick up mid-January.
Yeah.
Give us more data points, but also just, again, we can piggyback off other people's attention.
We're also trying to avoid Ramadan.
Ramadan, yes, that's going to start end of February. No, it's a factor in our market a little bit, right? We see it. We don't want to believe it, but we actually see some impacts of that. So I know Sanek's got a listing coming out. He's trying to make sure he's marketing and listing it before the period because it's pretty much end of February to the end of March. But for 2024, if we look at Durham stats, we can see the listings, to Curtis's point, like it started at 751 January, and it crept up. So February, 800, by March, 900. By the time you get to April, May, June, July, you get to 1,500 to 2,000. So it's a pretty steep, increase. However, when you look at sales, of course, from 2024, this is for the Durham area, about 540 sales. February got up to 700, March got up to 800. Even though April, May got up to 900, the listings still outpaced the number of sales. So according to these stats, it almost looks like if you were to sell in the February, right before all the listings came out, it's sort of a sweet spot between a higher price, less competition. So this person, and stats may suggest, and if you're meeting with sellers in the Durham area, it might apply to some areas in Toronto as well, but it may be a little beneficial to get the house on the market right now and get it ready for February before everybody else also comes in the spring. So I think there's an interesting sweet spot right now of listing and inventory and competition out there. Buyers, there are pent-up demand. We know that they're watching. They're a little distracted right now, but if the right product came to the market that they're looking for, it may be beneficial. So
Well, I usually tell clients February is spring market.
it kind of is. It's sort of, it's the start of it, right?
And then March, April, everyone's like, oh wow, things are selling.
Yeah.
And then everyone lists that.
And everyone's listing, and
There
we
you
can
go.
see in the stats that yes, sales are a little higher, but not relative to the number of listings. It's almost double.
We just did a Instagram post today on this exact topic, and the highest price last year and in 2023 was May. So if they're looking for price, the highest price was by fact in May, and the lowest price was in February 2023 and August 2024. So for buying for the lowest price, it's kind of hard, but if they're selling for the highest price, the last 2 years it's been May.
So if we predict prices are going to go up in 2025, I know there's different schools of opinion,
But
but
not
some
by
people are saying
much.
5%. You could hang out until May.
If you want to wait, but it's not like hundreds of thousands of dollars difference. It was only a little bit.
Yeah. I also saw a comparison study about a condo at 5 Mercer, where the agents were keeping an eye on it. They had the listing contract. They saw another exact same unit come on the market. So they said, let's see how this one does to play out our strategy. So that particular unit was a 2-bedroom plus den. They listed at $799. They listed at a different price, but they had a bidding war. So they had 3 offers. The agents were watching it so that they knew one person won. There was 2 other ones lingering. So the listing strategy of the second unit, they listed the day after that one posted sold, and they captured the 2 buyers that lost right away, and they got the price they want. So they listed for $799, held it for 1 week, they got $950. And this is in a condo market, CO1,
That's a new boat hotel.
Yeah.
a 5 Mercer?
Mercer or Mariner?
Mariner, sorry, 5 Mariner Terrace. Yeah, sorry, 5 Mariner. So just to show you, keep an eye on other listings in your area that you can leverage off it, because if there's some pent-up demand, you're going to capture, and they're excited, they've already bid on it, they're you capture it within that same week, you're getting them in a really high energy point. So we've got some listings that we know of neighbors coming out that we're going to keep an eye on too. So it's kind of interesting, but it's good to see CO1 condos, to our point about stats, prices really haven't done much. They got 150 over asking on a list low strategy. It's kind of interesting. Yeah. You can piggyback off me.
Oh, I can? Okay.
Yeah, you can. Give me a second to decide which
When
direction
you're
I
going
want
to
to
go,
go.
that's what I was doing here too. Toronto housing market could become Canada's priciest market in 2025, experts say. So what they're suggesting here is that Toronto prices this year could go higher than the prices in Vancouver. So right now our average price is what, 1.13, something like that, or
1117.
1117, and Vancouver it's actually here's for November it says 1106. Vancouver's 1172, so about $72,000. So it's starting to catch up. Yeah. All right, so that's good. So if you want to know what's happening there, policy changes boost buyer confidence. We're talking about the $1 million, $1.5 million now for the high ratio mortgages. There's 3-year amortization for first-time buyers. Condominium market, though, as I was reading before, it's the new build condominium market was down about 80% last year. That's gigantic numbers. I'm looking at Aiden here. So 80% of the normal 10-year average. So it's like from last year. So but then there's a lot of projects that have been stopped too, right? So that's why you're not getting the volume too. But Aiden, you're still getting action for some condominium markets in the pre-cons, whoever's doing pre-con?
We still get about for every project every month I get about let's say 10 solid leads. Convert them. It's tougher than before, but
yeah. So buyers out there still think that they still think that it's a future in the pre-con, right? And they're paying how much today now for a pre-con? About
like Q Tower, they're paying anywhere like 1,400 to 1,600.
Really? And Q Tower is where again?
That's 200 Queens Q West.
Queen and
It's right downtown.
Queen and where?
Right by York and Bay. But like let's say at Bravo, which is right next to Subway, but in Vaughan, they're paying like 1,100, 1,200.
Okay, so the burbs 1,100, downtown still 14, 16,
14
really?
to 16.
Aiden, who?
Not well, what they do.
Like 18, 19.
No. What they do is that they don't reduce the price because then the previous buyers they're gonna get really mad and
Right.
upset. What they do is that they offer more incentives. So they say we give you like let's say 80,000 credit at the closing.
Or upgrades or free parking or anything that they can
But
use.
on the actual price, they're not.
The price is not touched.
They want to show it.
Who is the buyer profile? These investors that have pre-con units already, are these people that is their first investment? Like who's the buyer profile?
They're mostly like for the past year, they're mostly end users.
End users.
Wow.
Okay.
Is Q Tower all sold out?
No?
Is Q Tower almost sold out or no?
68%, almost 70% sold out. For that price range,
So are people still buying pre-con?
Yeah, they are.
Right, so there's still if you're looking for ad material or something to advertise, I mean it's going on there. Right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
One thing that Trudeau resigning, he's trying to do that capital gains tax, right? So remember, right now, capital gains tax we get taxed on 50% of the capital gain, and the 50% is based on your personal tax rate. The government wanted to change it to 2/3. Anything over $250,000 capital gain, well, the first 250 would be 50-50, and after that would be 2/3, right? But because the government provoked the government, they didn't vote on it. It hasn't got
It's in
Royal's
limbo right
consent
now.
yet.
Yeah.
So we're in the limbo right now. We don't know whether or not it's going to be applicable or not applicable.
The CRA says it's gonna go ahead.
Yeah.
So welcome to Canada, right? So even though it hasn't passed law, even though it hasn't gone to royal consent, CRA's opinion is it passed anyway. So we're going to still ding you.
Which it hasn't passed. Like nothing's happened
So
yet.
so welcome to Canada. Tax. What did Chow do today?
And today the mayor.
6.5% or some crazy thing. So last year it was 9.5.
Increase again?
They haven't increased this one.
They increased last year 9.5%.
Yeah, they increased 12%.
Last year was 9.5%, and this year is another 6.5. So. But still, it's still in Toronto here. When you've got a $10 million property or a $2 million property, you're still only paying $1,200 in taxes, some crazy number, whatever that number is.
Yeah, it's a
Anywhere else outside the 416, it's three times that. So.
That's true.
Yeah, don't know. So same thing. The information we're giving you is something you want to put in your social media here. I'm just giving you ideas like, hey, did you know that the taxes might be changing? Give me a call for details or something like that. We're always just something there, just give you content, right? That's what we're trying to do.
Yep. There are some new things where they are trying to offer rebates for home renovations and energy efficient appliances. This was passed along in our WhatsApp group as well. They're trying to unveil a new rebate program, which is really a refresh of another program that they tried to launch that did not get launched. But this plan includes rebates of up to 30% for home renovation projects, such as replacing windows or doors or installing smart thermostats. We'll also expand to energy efficient appliances like refrigerators and freezers as well. And so basically the incentive will include $600 for a home energy assessment, $100 per new window, new door, about $9,000 insulation, and there's just a bunch of categories for improving renovations in your own home. So if you're thinking about renovations or you have clients that are asking you, should I renovate, should I sell? We get that question a lot too. Should I renovate at all? It's kind of for their own personal use, but it's not official yet, but there are some rebates that they're trying to. This is a conservative government that are trying to implement this as well. So I think we've seen other energy efficient type rebates as well, but this is what they're trying to launch. They're estimating that for every dollar someone spends, they get a $2 return on their renovations. So it's not a bad thing. Again, it's just a talking point to your clients that are thinking about renovating, or maybe they bought a house with you, the windows needed to be done, now might be a good time to do that kind of stuff. Were you going to talk about the income tax brackets going up, or were you going to... I'll just get the bad news out of the way so we can focus on good stuff after.
That's just good news.
That's good news.
Because the more money you make, the more taxes you pay. That's good news.
So we want that bracket.
Right? You want to pay as many taxes as you have to. Right? I don't want to pay $250,000 in taxes. Well, if you did, you made $1 million. So what do you want to make? $100,000 so you pay $12,000 taxes?
Fair.
It is true. I don't know where it is now, but yeah, the income tax brackets did go up slightly. It's just a different tier.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple of things that changed, right? So your RSPs changed, the tax brackets changed, the OAS changed. Anybody that's at retirement age, anybody that's taking retirement money, anybody that's taking their CPP, just remember to talk to your accountant and make sure that you're not contributing to CPP at the same time as you're taking CPP. You have to make a separate. It's only for old guys. So if you're squinting at me and you're a young guy, don't worry about it. It's only for old guys. But you'll save yourself about $4,000 a year by not paying CPP when you're collecting CPP. Right. Anyways, it's just off topic here. OAS they've increased. OAS is Ontario just to plan for the future. Right now, if you make more than I think it's $70,000, they claw back the OAS 100%. And now they've increased that now to $92,000, I think it is. So if you make more than $90,000, $92,000, then they'll claw back 100% of your old age security. If you make less than that, then it's a percentage. So I see some people shaking, so it makes sense to some people what I'm talking about. Most people, you're too far away. So. And your tax-free savings account, which will apply to most people, they've increased it to they maintained it at $7,000.
Yeah, they increased the RSP limit though, and the inflation.
RSP
is $32,490, and those people on PREC, just those people that are considering becoming a personal real estate corporation. Just to remind you, the advantages are that you can certainly have some tax benefits when you pay yourself, but the disadvantages are that income that you get in your PREC does not qualify for mortgages. It does not qualify for RSPs. So I would have told you that already if you've converted to PREC, but if you're thinking about going to PREC, then that's the downfalls.
Good point. This trend is sort of interesting. I was reading about that we're in a renter's nation sort of right now, and the stats are showing that with the amount of leases that we're doing. It's Claire's favorite topic. He loves leases. Yeah. There is a revolution right now of solo renters. So there are stats that are showing that there's a lot of renters who are solo people. These are single people, single parents, or solo individual people that have now surpassed single ownership as well. So right now, single people, solo people are renting more than what actually home ownership. And of those people, seniors aged 65 and older are emerging as the driving force of this. So it used to be younger people that were renting by themselves. So now it's actually older people over 65 who are renting. I'm telling you this because these people are likely coming from a house that they're selling. So there's an opportunity for you to talk to your clients about their situation if they're in a financial burden or they're looking to just simplify their lives. They may have a house to sell and they may be looking for a rental property. 2.6 million people in Ontario, Quebec are living alone. And like I said, their solo renters are now comprising over 50% of that people. mostly due to rising house costs, making home ownership unattainable, especially as they get older and into retirement phase, and especially in urban areas like Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal. So renting is offering a more accessible option, taking away a long-term financial burden as well. And people in society in general are looking for personal freedom, increasing preference for hassle-free living, and all of this is contributing to that trend of people renting. Another interesting stat for people online are here that are selling in Halton Hills and Caledon. Half of their solo renters are seniors, and so in those areas in particular, outside the urban cores, most people are renting, especially in that senior category. So it's interesting. It's not necessarily a good thing, but it's happening, and more younger renters are more targeted towards urban areas. So those are the people that are going to your downtown condos. So if you're living downtown, you want to service younger people, that's one of your niche targets. You may want to think about servicing downtown rentals as opposed to suburban areas, which is generally a little bit older. But if your niche is sort of that older person, that downsizer, upsizer, maybe it's not the downtown core that you're focused on. So I'm just trying to tie it to what Katelyn teaches you to sort of identify your audience and then look at the stats, revolving those people and where you can service them best. Yeah.
Do you still suggest to use that single key for if you're representing the landlord?
Yeah, we're recommending it.
But
Yeah.
when the person is self-employed, does that work because I tried it for the self-employed and it doesn't work?
It's not bringing up anything. You would still
Because
have
it just like does credit reports and like a background check. So if they're self-employed, there should be.
The issue was the client had a mortgage, they had the investment property, that tenant had an investment property. It was shown on the Equifax, but on the single key, it was not pulling it up. Yeah.
that.
Maybe it's fraud.
Yeah.
Might be catching something.
Then I figured out maybe it was a private lender, they gave it to them, so the way they registered the loan doesn't
The
show up.
single key could have caught something about your client.
If it's registered there, it's supposed to show here.
If it's on Equifax, it should be.
Look at the data that file and save on Equifax. A lot of people use all-pages ones.
You saying is that like a fraud catch? Yeah. So that could be fraud right
okay.
there.
So just for
Yeah.
online, there's a situation where we submitted a single key application and no information has come up, or it's misleading the information. And so we're suggesting that maybe there's actually
Maybe they actually
potential
caught it.
discrepancy with the client and their application. There could be something.
So yeah.
And then requesting for the bank statement, is that legal when you do representing the landlord, ask them for the bank statement?
Well, it's a corporation, so there's no personal stuff for corporation, right? It's a little different. You asked for the bank information of the corporation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's against human rights.
I don't know if it's against law or not, but at the street level law, I would think it would be. Yeah. Like I don't think a landlord's going to give a tenant the property unless he can prove income.
Yeah.
That's street level, you know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Just off topic here, somebody here got fined $5,000 from RICO for showing up late for an appointment.
What?
So it was after the time window?
So the time
or-
limit, the appointment they had was between 1 and 2:30. They got there at like, well, I didn't print it all out there. Their appointment was 1:45 to 2:15. They showed up at 2:54. $5,000 fine.
And the agents went to Rico.
Yeah, this is RICO, not Trev.
Because what happened there was 2:15. The owner's son got home from school at 2:30. They show up at 2:45. The son's at home by himself. Somebody opened the door and walked in the house.
That's kind of scary.
So it doesn't really matter what the circumstance is. If you're late, you're late, and you either got a phone or you got to do something, and it's a $5,000 fine for the pleasure. So, and that makes sense, right? When I tell you, well, you're late 50 minutes, well, $5,000, that's not worth it. But then you got a 14-year-old kid at home by himself,
Could
and
be in the shower or
somebody's
something
going into the
weird.
house.
Yeah.
Changes the story.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure. I read about a fine today of $9,000 for a listing agent that did not verify the taxes from a source document. So in this situation, the listing agent asked the seller, what do you pay for property taxes? They took that number down, that went on MLS. They did not verify it against your house or an actual property tax bill. And buyer bought the property. The taxes were $1,000 difference, which is double the amount of property taxes. And the listing agent was fined $9,000 and a mandatory education course as well.
So you guys can look that up on Geo Warehouse.
And you know what he
now.
had on his offer too? He says, buy an agent to verify all information.
We know that. I know you see it in the real world.
And he's still.
That is not enforceable.
It's not. Just so you know, just because you put it on there, it means squat.
Yeah. Yeah, so don't believe your sellers. Like, get the information from a document that you can reference back. And the thing I keep coming back to there, this is from the Tressa update meeting today. There's part 2. If you guys don't go to those, you should go, because it's quite funny how harsh they are on some of these rules. And I laugh because I know in the real world what's actually happening, but you get on these calls and it's like really serious, the stuff they go through, right? But one of the things to just consider in your mind is like, did you do your job? Like, our job as a realtor is not to just get some basic information and a price and throw it up on MLS. Like, our job is serious. We're trading really serious assets, and we have to verify taxes and measurements and lockers and parking and all these details. That's our job on the selling side and the buying side. It's our job to verify all of this information to protect our clients. So when RICO, these cases go to a disciplinary hearing, they're gonna look at, did this person do their job? Did this listing agent do their job to protect their clients and get the right information for the buyers? Did they do their job in that instance? And that's the question the panel's going to ask when they're reviewing your cases to find out if you're guilty or not. So just consider that when you're going out there and you're putting out listings and you're getting information, and you see things online that says buyer to verify. It's not enforceable, and both parties have a duty to get the right information. But you should watch those. They're going to be recorded. I'll probably send it out. It's kind of fun to watch them. There's a lot of new stuff coming today that I didn't even realize as well, so I'll probably have to send out a bulletin or do a whole new training. But they did launch a new representation form that's going to help with mirror listings. There's a new Form 223 that's going to help you receive commission from a mirror posting. There's a new deposit form I heard today, so I need to go through it a little bit more. It was just at 10 o'clock today. I'll go through it with Claire, but like Claire said at the beginning of the meeting, it's really just more paperwork. It's not nothing major that has changed. It's just a new form. It's supposed to be there to benefit you. It's supposed to be easier to understand. These are forms that we've been asking for, to be honest, all year, so they're finally ready now. If you use the girls, you will always have the current forms and clauses, but if you're doing your own paperwork, be very careful that you have the right templates, because we're going to be updating those very soon. So.
Someone's asking, how do you learn how to do all of these things?
Come to the meetings, right?
I would say come to the meetings, make sure you're doing your training.
You got to come to the meetings, you got to sit down with Ginny, you got to sit down with Nelson, and where else, you got to sit there and make sure you got all your orientation done, and you understand all these things.
Yeah,
Right?
you figure out what you don't know when you're doing like a listing package on your data form, your listing agreement. When things pop up, that kind of triggers what things to look up.
Yeah,
right?
but if you're a brand new agent coming right out of school, you want to make sure you're for sure watching these meetings. This is for anybody, because we're going to update you on the new stuff. But come to Ginny for training. So we're not in a position where we're going to be begging you. You have to come to training. You're missing, step 2 of 6. You're an independent contractor, but we have the resources here. We will teach you everything from step A to Z with clauses and what each thing means. But you have to come in for training, and it's not on a weekend or on an evening as well. It's a dedicated time where you've set up an appointment to meet with Ginny or Nelson or any of us, truly. But then beyond that, RICO has their own update courses. Treb always publishes their own courses. Oria has a hand in it too, because they're making their templates. So all these individual third parties also have training about all this stuff as well.
But it's up to you guys.
I think it goes back to my discipline. I think
right.
on Friday afternoons at 2:00, I'm gonna do my RICO training. I'm gonna update my technical skills.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Mark Weisletter. He's a lawyer, right? He does a lot of public speaking and things like that, right? And I guess he's got some experience, and he's just sort of gave us some tips here. And the title says here, 5 New Year's resolutions for real estate agents in 2025. So, review title search before going on the listing. Anybody, you guys do that?
It's like literally the first thing I do whenever I get an inquiry or an appointment. I'm on Geo Warehouse. I want to see who the name is, when they bought it, what am I looking at?
How old's the house?
It sets the foundation.
Right, so you got to know who owns the property, right? What's that? Be specific on any rental contract. I don't know why this is confusing, but I still had one even last week and one the week before that the agents are not asking for the rental information. It's not that difficult. In the package that we give you the list of things you got to check. And where people are getting caught is if they've got they're paying like $150 for an air condition and a furnace. So it's not
in the package.
It's not owned, right? So you got to ask your client. And basically, the only way you can ask your client, I guess, you used to be able to ask for their bills, right? You used to be able to ask for their gas bill, but now what? They split the water tanks from Enbridge. Now you got a bill directly from Entercare or whoever owns it, right?
Yeah.
But you got to be careful on that stuff. That's a
Huge question.
That's an indictable offense. Ask about the keys and make sure the seller provides 2 sets on closing. This hasn't happened for a long time, but I remember times before when people have lockbox, they'd have the key in the lockbox. and some agent would screw up and maybe put the wrong key back in the lockbox or not return the key. You've seen that, right? And the agent's going nuts, and I say, it's no problem, just get the second key that you have, cut it and put it back. Well, I don't have a second key, I only gave you one key. Okay, so you might as well just, you might as well kill yourself right there. Like if you got one set of keys, why wouldn't you cut a set just in case something happens? And then how many times do people say that the lawyer will phone you up, did you leave a lock, did you leave a key at the house for the buyer to buy? And that's a new trick too, right? He's talking about keys. Stay involved in the deal until closing. Has anybody had any situations where you haven't heard from the buyer's agent and your seller, and your seller's saying, what's going on? I haven't heard anybody, are they going to close, not close? Does that happen very often?
They don't call us very often. It's usually, the lawyers only talk to the clients for the most part, but we try to stay in touch with the clients on day of closing and just say, hey, you're going to get a heads up before us, unless something goes wrong.
And this doesn't happen too often, but Nelson might be able to comment on this, but it doesn't happen too often. But get expert advice when you need it. So many times in the past, somebody would say, well, this happened, that happened. And I said, well, do this, do that. Well, it's too late because I did it last night.
They ask the question as if it hasn't happened
You
yet.
ask the question the next day
What
when
if
the
this
deed's already been done. You still get that, Nelson? Okay.
Yep.
And what he's saying here, if you're not sure about anything during negotiations, whether it's an issue related to the foreign buyer, zoning, HST, condominium status certificates, basement apartments, don't be nervous ask for assistance. That's what we're here for. And a lot of people have been going to this what's up thing. I'm not part of it, but a lot of people, you should be coming to Nelson or me if it's a legal questions, not just...
Yes.
Just don't ask legal questions in that format. That format's not for legal. That format's different.
And that is a rule of the WhatsApp group. You'll see me either delete it completely or you'll see me say I'll DM you or message you, and that's because that particular situation, even though there's people in the audience that want to hear the answer, that's not the real question. The real question is related to a particular deal and a very particular situation that requires me to answer it particularly. It's not like a generic question. That's why I don't post it in that group. It's very particular to that deal. And like if I'm not, usually the first question is not like the main question, so it's on me to figure that out. But yeah, like Claire's not in that group, and you wouldn't want to be in that group. There's two of them. One is really meant for you to share staging, cleaners, general like real estate stuff, not like political, religious, legal, contractual, any of that stuff. And then we've got another one where Katelyn and I can post like important stuff, and it will live there forever that you can go back and like reference back to it. But no, your point, like they should come to any of the management team for legal questions for sure.
Okay, I'm done.
Just a question before we get into Katelyn. Can you just comment again really quickly on the pros and cons of a prec? I know it's a bit generic, but there are some general tips that you can touch on.
Is anybody considering doing a prec or that hasn't done so already?
I think because we're in tax season, we're going to get that question a little bit from the previous years.
Okay, so the first thing that people do when they're precs, create a prec, for some reason they go to an accountant or a lawyer, which you're supposed to do, and for some reason they do a name search and they have something like Bill Smith Real Estate Professional Corporation Limited. And the agent's name is Bill Smith. When it comes to precs, you cannot advertise a name. You can't, that name's useless. You can't advertise it, you can't post it, you can't do anything with it. So why not just get a numbered company and save yourself $400 on a title search? That's number one. You know what I'm getting at? Because everybody wants to be vanity. Everybody wants to have, Clare Fulton, real estate professional. Well, you can't do anything with it. so it just needs to be 123 Ontario. It was strictly for accounting. It's nothing to do with marketing or anything else. So be careful with that. As I said before, any income that you get in a prec, the only people that should be considering precs are people that make more money than they spend. If you spend more money than you're making, then there's no advantage to a prec at all. A prec, you've got to hold money, you put money in the prec, you pay your 12.5% small business tax, and whatever money's left over, you can invest, you can buy property, do what you want with it, but you can't spend it, you can't give it to yourself. As soon as you give it to yourself, you're paying the other 32.5% tax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. So there are advantages and disadvantages. So the big advantage is for the person that doesn't need the money, and the money's going to sit there. Advantage, yes.
And the accounting fees go up significantly too.
Well, you got to do accounting.
So
you have to do corporate accounting. You have to do corporate tax returns. Not just you got to do your personal tax return. You got to do your corporate tax return. You got to do your corporate HST. You have a corporate bank account. Everything else is all completely separate.
Yeah. So it's a complicated
thing. So it's complicated, and it works for people that it's meant for, but some people get it not fully understanding. So.
Yeah, and then if you do it, it comes along with a board of directors and an annual general meeting every year that you would hold with yourself and your board of directors, and there's minutes from that meeting as well. There's a whole slew of checklists and stuff that your accountant would help you with, but it's not just as easy as opening an account and having us pay it into an account. There's a lot of consequences and stuff.
So there's lots of advantages to it, for sure.
Yep.
if you save money.
If you save it.
Can you buy property under that name?
You can, but nobody's going to give you a mortgage.
But if you get your commission based on that name company,
I don't know. That's a mortgage company question, right?
And can you use that company for any other businesses?
Yep.
Not
Only
outside
relate to real estate.
though. It has to be-
Outside real
It has to be
estate.
tied to real estate.
Not outside or
No,
yes?
it can be
Has to
outside
be.
real estate.
Yes, outside.
Yeah, you can. Yes, you can. Any questions?
So don't do it.
No, do
No, no.
do
If
no. I
you
didn't say
save
that.
money, it works really well for
Yeah.
you. If you like to spend all your money,
It's-
it does not work for you.
Just no.
the whole
just,
point is to save taxes.
just sell lots of houses, man. It works great.
Yeah. Speaking of taxes, next week we are having a session with tax planners, so that'll be next Wednesday. With the people we had last year, the PREC planners. They're hosting their own webinar that they invited us to, so I'll send out an invite for that.
And hopefully she'll be in a place of Wi-Fi.
So speaking of times, this is just a repeat, but just
It's not a private session,
It's just a repeat. You guys should be having your own credit card for your
Yes.
business activities. You should have your own credit card separate from your personal. And the credit card should be used for your gas, for your car, for your anything to do with related to real
Marketing.
estate. And then when you get your tax bill, or sorry, you get your statement from your bank for the credit card, everything on that card is business.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go back and say, well, this is personal and that's business, and you spend hours trying to figure out what's what. No, it's 100% business. You got to be really disciplined.
That was the best hack you ever taught us,
Discipline.
I think.
And then you just take the whole thing, give your accountant, and you're finished. So you're not taking out personal stuff. It's and
You're
keep
not
them
figuring out what
completely
meals.
separate.
Yeah.
That's a simple thing to do.
Yep. And hold on to your receipts. I had my first little mini audit this month for advertising and marketing. And what they did was they asked me to give my biggest 10 transactions for marketing and advertising from 2021. And I had to produce all of the receipts from that. So we talk about holding your receipts, but yeah, it was a lot easier for me because everything was marketing. Thankfully, most of my transactions were online for that, so I didn't have to pop out real receipts. But if you get caught on meals and stuff like that, I can only imagine how much of a nightmare that is. But it is a real thing. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, next week we are doing a PREC planning, or I don't know if it's PREC, but it is tax planning for realtors, so that's next Wednesday. This Wednesday I'm doing a session for email marketing, so that's at 10:30 here or online. I'm going to be talking about Hub 21 specifically on how to get your 2025 campaign set up. I think email marketing is going to be the biggest marketing thing for realtors in 2025, so if you're not already doing that, you're missing out. And like Claire said, if you're not doing online marketing, hopefully you guys are doing a monthly newsletter sent directly via mail, snail mail. If you're not able to afford that or you're not doing that, email is free, easy. You can do it from home. Or the platform that you guys have set up, you can literally put email addresses into it and have your entire year set up for emails next or this week, and then you're done for the year. So at minimum, we should all be on that. Just wanted to pop up. Do you guys? Claire was asking today. I think were you asking who does
Online listing
Who does
presentations.
listing presentations on their computer?
Let me just repeat that a little bit. So,
Or yeah, there's probably a better question.
so my question was, because we had a glitch there with the Sirhan.
Yes, actually that's fair.
My question was, how many people do listing presentations with their laptops and do it online? And my second question is it done with Wi-Fi or is it already
Like a
in your
PDF.
hard drive?
Are we using Wi-Fi?
That's like hard drive.
Oof, you guys are risky.
I
Hotspotting?
just hotspotted.
Yeah, that's risky too. What happens if it doesn't work?
What if you're in Orono and you don't have service?
Yeah.
So somebody who does their online things suggested, or what they did is they sent the package to the client before the meeting, which is classic Mike Ferry.
Yeah. If you've got a PDF of your presentation, it's okay because you don't require Wi-Fi for it. But if you guys are using like Canva, for example, that requires the internet and you're doing presentations or whatever you guys are using, sometimes that can be scary if the Wi-Fi is not down. But anyways, my other point was back last year at Fired Up, I gave you guys a one-page listing presentation. Have any of you guys tried this out this year? No? Awesome. It's really? What are you guys doing? Okay, well, one of our agents used it last week. I think it's great. So if you guys aren't doing a listing presentation or you're too embarrassed to pop up a PowerPoint presentation for your clients and do like a slide-by-slide at the kitchen table, hopefully you guys have some sort of presentation lineup that you guys are doing. So I know one of our agents used this on Friday, or at least bring it with you. It's the entire presentation on one page. that I give to you guys that you can just put in your clipboard, bring with you guys so that you guys at least know what order you guys should be talking to a seller in. So if you're embarrassed to bring a PowerPoint. So it just talks about the 5 questions when you go sit at the kitchen table, like some report building questions, like what's important in the sale to you, why do you need to sell now, what do you love about your home? And then it goes into like little PowerPoint points. So why choose me, why our brokerage, talks about what your role is, the admin team, what they're doing here, what Claire's role as a broker of record is, and then it goes into how they should prepare their property. So you guys are going to talk about decluttering the property, maybe you're going to suggest paint, then it says, okay, then we're going to talk about promoting the property, where you guys talk about photography, staging, all of that. Then you go into pricing, this is where you pop out your CMA, and then signing the contract. So you guys have access to this. It's a 1-page presentation. So if you guys are sitting in front of a seller and you don't know what to talk about, this is what you talk about, okay? So I'm really curious, what are you guys using for presentations? Like that is actually working. Okay, so we're doing some PowerPoints. Anyone not doing anything at all and just walking in and you just bring a contract and they just sign it? Is that a thing? Really? You would literally just walk in. That's it.
I have a trusted fit.
You guys don't have any conversation. You just walk to the table and say, sign here? No way.
Everything is through the personal connect, so they don't want.
Well, of course. I do personal connections, but you still got to sit at a table and talk about the process.
Do they say
They don't ask
want you
anything?
to? They say don't do a presentation? But do they say that?
They don't say, hey, are you going to price?
Are you assuming that, or do they say that?
This is a lie. This is such a lie.
That's what they say? They say, I don't want a presentation, don't bother.
I want the CMA for sure.
They don't ask you, are you guys going to do photos? What should I do to the property? How are we going to price it? There's no way no one walks into a presentation and just gets a paper signed.
Commission?
Yeah.
Commission?
Interesting.
And are they saying, will you discount my commission?
Exactly.
Exactly, because we're not doing a presentation. That's my point.
I don't think you should give them a choice. I don't think you should give them a choice to say we're doing it.
I think everyone should be forced to do a presentation,
Okay,
so by the end of the presentation, when you get to sign the contract, no one's asking what your commission is.
Do you believe that a Mercedes costs more than a Hyundai?
Yes.
Why?
Presentation.
Brand.
Why? Just because you say quality, what does that mean? My Hyundai's got quality too.
Marketing.
The package, the
You should be-
services,
no.
It's a brand name that is in this book, but also
the experience.
dashboard that it has.
The technology.
That it has.
So if all I care is getting from A to B, do I care about all that stuff? So I'm going to buy the Hyundai, right? But how do I know that the Mercedes has all those things that the Hyundai doesn't? How do I know that?
Yeah, you got to do the presentation.
Do your research.
You have to. Don't you have to tell me? Don't you have to tell me the difference between a Mercedes and a Hyundai? You have to explain that it has 22-inch tires. That one's got 18-inch tires. It's got it's got big this and that. Don't you have to explain what the difference is? Otherwise, it's just going to be what's your price, what's your commission.
Okay, well, let's make it a goal.
Unless you can identify yourself as being something different, you're going to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
And then they're going to treat you like an egg. Where can I buy the cheapest egg? All right. So you have to get away from being a commodity, and you have to show why is it that you're a Mercedes.
Which is
And
all
that-
in this checklist.
And that's where it comes with the presentation. I'll tell you right now. You think I'll throw a couple names out. You think that the fellow in the corner there? You think he just shows up and just
Sign here?
sign here?
No way.
All right. Or we're just talking to a woman here, same thing. They pre-send their pre-listing package. I mean, you really have to sell yourself.
Even repeat clients still want to know what you're going to do to sell their house.
Yep.
Even your brother-in-law. Okay, so your brother-in-law says, "What's my house worth?" You got to go in there and say, "Well, it's worth this," but you got to say, "But then you have to explain what you do. Otherwise, they don't know either."
Yep.
My opinion. I don't know.
I guess we need to insist that we will do a presentation.
And I'm not saying you have to sit down.
No. To answer the question though, what it is you don't have to physically do the slide. You don't have to sit there and here's this
You could
slide.
be
What
walking
slide
with
2,
this.
slide 3. You have to have this all memorized in your head. What line? What
So it's
slide 1,
conversation.
line 3. You got to have all this in your head.
Yeah.
If you've got a client that doesn't want to play.
And you could even be maybe not sitting at a table formally, you could literally just be walking through the house and in your brain going through these slides about what you're gonna do to prepare the house, different things to be doing. So this presentation could be you doing on your tour, making sure that you're talking about, oh yeah, okay, we're gonna get great photos of this little spot. I'm gonna bring my videographer in and they're gonna take videos of this. So maybe you're not sitting at the table and just going through it, but as you're walking in the home, we're talking about these items. But you wanna make sure that you're talking about every single thing you're gonna do with them so that when they go to sign the contract, it's not, what are you gonna discount?
Okay, now there's also, I read a book years ago called Marketing Warfare. And basically it was like, take no prisoners, it's a war out there. It's not nicey, nice, right? It's a war. So if you're a particular person, you're up against a superstar. Let's say you're up against Frank Leo. What can you do that Frank Leo can't?
Personal attention,
Right?
You'll be there. It'll be
Right.
you.
Right?
rather than.
So
Time.
when you have a list of things and that's what the listing presentation would do, right? Some agents, marketing warfare, they'll go market warfare. They'll bring up his stats and say, yeah, Frank's a great agent. You know what? He represents 15% of all expired listings. But you want your property sold, don't you? What? Or I'll do another one, Remax. Okay, Remax has, what they got, 20%, 25% market share. You know what? They have 25% of the expired listings are Remax listings. So that's what you want to list with them? That's marketing warfare. This guy here, he's a farmer. You know that he's a farmer. You know that this farmer, he sells, all the houses he sells for 94% of the asking price. My sales are 99%. So you're giving out 3 or 4% because this guy advertises on the radio? That's market warfare. Like that's sort of like, you know.
Or maybe we should be marketing on the radio too.
You want to list your brother-in-law? That's great. I checked his numbers here. He sold 3 houses last 3 years, so that's impressive. Is that somebody you want to deal with, your biggest investment in your life?
You see how he's making it sound so positive? He's saying not a nasty thing, but saying a bad thing.
No,
in a positive
it's
way.
market warfare. It's like you know, it depends how you feel. Depends on your attitude, right?
Perfect. So I guess some more like little coaching tips. I'm sure we all have clients last year or the last couple of years that have said that they wanted to buy or sell and they haven't done anything yet, right? We all have a list. So a lot of you guys took the Systems for Success course and I taught you guys how to have a hot sheet where you write down all those people that said, hey, I'm gonna do something, and then you keep track of them. Because we all have like a bunch of leads, but then you have your serious leads, which you should stick on a hot sheet, which is handwritten and have it on your desk every day. And then every week you should be like, okay, follow up with these guys because they're gonna do something. So this is one of my tips for that. Another tip, reach out to Heather. If you guys don't know who to contact, we talk about reaching out to your database all the time. Heather has your entire database of past clients. So I would reach out to Heather or Paige even. Have all of your deals printed. This is like a deals report of all the sales you've done. Go through this and make sure that you have stayed in touch with these clients. And just go by this list. So if you're really like not organized at all, my recommendation would get Paige or Heather to print off all of your deals since you started and reach out to these people individually, make sure they're on your CRM, check off what you last talked to, and make sure this is your database.
I know everybody in here was here in 2017, or
Yes.
sorry, 2020. Your 2020 people are renewing mortgages.
Yeah, 2020 is a
this
great
year.
time to reach out and say, hey, your mortgage renewal's coming up.
They're going to
Do you
downsize,
wanna
upsize, or renew.
Even
so.
if you're just recommending a mortgage person to reach out to talk about it, because there is some buyer or people that are freaking out because the rates have gone up since they purchased. So just getting them in touch with a mortgage broker or just showing them that you're on top of it. Maybe they do want to sell because they can't afford it. So great time to get your 2020 list from Heather as well.
Yeah.
And then I just read a quick article on 6 ways to reach out to clients who wanted to wait until the new year. So there's some tips here for you guys. So a lot of agents will tell me, well, I don't know what to do or I don't know what to say for those people. So there's a lot of people that said that they would wait till this year, and likely right now they're rethinking those plans, especially with all the new positive stuff happening, the interest rates going down. Right now is a really great time to reconnect, especially since things are a little bit slower. A lot of these people were waiting for lower rates. Rates are going down. Waiting for more inventory. Inventory is going up, and a better market. So this is your chance to kind of get in front of them. And here's 6 ways that 6 strategies that you guys can do today. So number 1 would be an annual client letter, and you would send this out via snail mail. So sending them a letter just I do have a sample here if you guys want it afterwards, but doing some sort of annual letter, whether you're just recapping on how the year went or you're just doing a quick follow-up, send a snail mail, or if they prefer email or text message, you can do that too, but this is a great time for that. Offer an equity or CMA report. We talk about this often. So either send a quick email or text message asking if they want to know what their house is worth, whether they're looking to buy or sell right now, but sending them an equity report to find out how much they've gained in the past year, or a CMA report just to say what they could get in today's market. You could also send them a list of homes. So if you had buyers that are sitting on the market, just send them a list of properties that are currently on the market that fits their budget, fits their criteria. Just say, I don't know if this works out for you, but here's a list of homes. So that's a great way to get in touch with your buyer clients that are still sitting on the fence. Just send them something.
You can even pick like one house.
One house.
Kind of looks like what they were looking
You're
for.
just
And say,
nudging.
hey, I saw this new listing, thought of you.
That's a quick nudge. And then they may say, hey, actually, I've been thinking about you. We are thinking about getting back into it. I had some clients say, actually, I was doing some reach outs last week, and one said, oh, I was actually waiting for April. I was going to message you in April to sell in the spring. I was like, well, if you're going to sell in the spring, we might as well get things going right now. So this is a great week to get those consultations booked for people that are thinking about doing something even in the spring or fall. This one's a little awkward, but you could do it. One-on-one video message. So you do a personalized message to each of your clients, just especially for those ones that were waiting for the new year. Just present some updates on what's going on in the market. You can email or text them this. Pick up the phone. Pretty standard.
That's Claire's favorite.
This is Claire's favorite. Whatever your relationship with cold calling, there's something about a one-on-one conversation that texting, email, or other digital communication methods can't touch. So if you guys have clients that said they were thinking about doing something and haven't, just pick up the phone. And if you need some scripts, go on ChatGPT, or I have scripts here as well if you guys want some scripts. It's not that hard though. A lot of agents will not pick up the phone or text someone because they say, I don't know what to say. Well, figure it out. Figure out what to say, guys. It's not that difficult. You just have to say something. Otherwise, you're not going to say anything at all, and that's money you're losing out on. Yeah. Send a New Year's gift. So if you guys didn't do any holiday gift cards or anything like that, maybe it's a good time you can send a gift card to a local coffee shop, a care package. They had some ideas, like a stay warm package where you could do a throw blanket, hot chocolate, a mug, and a gift card. A stay well package with emergency tablets, tea, lozenges, funny mugs. Or you could do a planning your 2025 and send a planner with your logos on it, pens, sticky notes, magnetic list pads. I know Alex was doing garbage schedule magnets last week for a specific area in Scarborough. So think of mail outs that you guys can do as well. Or there's the 5 for 5 strategy. Each day, select 5 clients from your database. So Heather's going to print you guys a database. Select 5 of the clients from your database of clients. Spend 5 minutes sending a personal text or video message to each one. And select 5 clients who told you last year that they wanted to wait until the new year and send them anything. And I think that was all the strategies. So that's 6 ideas for you guys to do this week on getting back in touch with those clients that haven't actually done something. And it'll be really sad if they did do something and didn't call you. So you could check it on with Geo.
We got an email last week from, I think we're on an agent's list, where she said, hey, last year we spoke about doing something, you weren't quite ready yet. I'm just checking in if you're ready to talk about something this year.
Yep.
It's
very simple.
And easy.
They could just say, nope, not doing it. Or even better, they're going to say, yes, actually, I've been thinking about it. Let's get on a call. Yeah. That's the best follow-up, is when they say, actually, yes, I'm still thinking. And I know we all have people on those lists, hopefully. Cool. Sure. We're all going to pick one?
Okay.
What was it?
We'll finish your thing first.
I think I'm done.
Okay.
So yeah, this week we got training, Wednesday, 10:30. Email marketing.
Okay.
Should be fun.
Okay. Let's end. We have a... Say again?
I haven't got after December. I only have
dropped out?
Today was the last day to reinstate, so we should have some proper stats after today. Today was their sort of official day. They had a local grace period. Today is the day. So maybe next week.
As of November, there's 74,190 on the Toronto Real Estate Board, plus another probably 20,000 on Ontario. But I think that's dropped at least 10%.
Yeah, that's our guess.
Retired or
transitioned
or
out.
Getting out.
The postage went up today.
Oh, really? How much?
Yeah, 25%.
Tw-
Yeah,
25% postage going up.
25 cents.
Did the Canada
Oh.
Post guys get their raise or that they were looking for?
They didn't get what they wanted.
They didn't? Okay, maybe that's.
So what does it cost now for just a normal envelope?
It was $1.40, and now I think it's like whatever. I don't even know actually.
Like
I wasn't
a-
really listening.
close to
I just
$1.
heard it went up significantly. I was like, "Are you kidding?" Because I love snail mail.
So, yeah.
It's still
Stamps
probably
are
cheaper than other options.
$1.25?
$1.24.
$1.24.
Don't let that deter you guys from mailing things.
Yeah, remember 10% of your income can be on marketing, so that's part of it.
Yeah.
Anyone have any houses that they want to talk about? Any listings you want to advertise or like assignments or anything unique,
I have
Steve?
a 3-bedroom condo coming up on Wednesday, 1950 Kennedy.
Okay, nice. 3-bedroom condo on Kennedy. That should do, like, big condos do well.
That's down
right?
the street.
We're gonna list at 399 hold on.
399 hold offers. Yeah, get the 500. That's like a 3-bedroom condo in the 500. It's not bad.
I think it's 700, 707. Yeah, plus hydro. But internet and things, everything else is
Cool. Why don't we just end off, this is kind of a question, but maybe we can make it a prediction or a bet. What do we think is going to happen with interest rates on Jan 29th? You think 0.5?
Oof, 0.25.
I think nothing. I don't think anything.
Nothing.
I think nothing, and I hope they do nothing. But
Jobs again.
I don't want to just chill. What do you think?
I think quarter point.
You think
I think a quarter point.
I think that's what they will end up doing. Yeah.
I think they'll keep going down until the spring and then chill.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
Whatever they do, we're going to adapt to it.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're just going to let them make the announcement. That's Mel Robbins' new thing. Let them do what they need to do, and we will adjust. Right?
That's what we should do.
Yeah, Edith?
There's something regarding assignment. I did a deal just to make sure whoever's doing assignment, those caps, most of them are not transferred.
Oh, good point.
Oh, really? Most of them is not.
Really fair.
The client was buying it and we figured out since it's not transferable, $40,000 development charges.
Okay, so Aiden's talking about in the situation of assignment. So when you buy pre-con, you might have negotiated for your levies and taxes to be capped at a certain amount. He's saying he was on a deal where they did an assignment and all of those negotiated capped levies and fees were not transferable to the new owner, meaning the new owner is going to pay full taxes and levies no matter how much they're charged, and they're quite high.
Is there any recourse on that?
I think there is. So just
You're thinking?
no. So when you go so just the mechanics of it, okay? So you've negotiated cap fees on a pre-construction. Now you've assigned that pre-construction to somebody
The whole
else.
contract you've assigned.
The whole contract gets assigned. So that contract's also been assigned. So likely the builder has said, I'm going to sign this agreement, but I'm not going to agree to that cap. So the buyer had a second decision to do it or not.
So there'll
do
be
it.
like an amendment or something because when you assign.
know when they do the builder approval, or they kind of
Yeah, well, the builder's, you're going to
Yeah.
get builder approval. The builder says, I'm not going to approve it because
right.
we're not going to cap it. So now the buyer has a decision. I'm going to either go forward or I'm going to kill the deal. Is that what happened? Or
Yeah, that's
That's
the
what happened.
buyer killed the deal? So it's not like the buyer's stuck with the money. There's still that point.
With the new deal, new price.
the builder said no.
Builder said no.
Builder said no.
Transferring.
So you had the chance to back out.
So it's not like the builder approved and then at the end, like,
Yeah. So had they had gone firm or something,
yeah.
Yeah.
At the beginning, even they wrote down on the clause that every assignment is there, but the cap is not transferable to the new.
Yeah, we've had some in the past where they've thrown in an extra parking space, and the builder says, "No, we're not doing the extra parking
I've
space
seen
on
that.
on
or
a
it's
on
not
an assignment."
free. Like maybe it was free parking during that incentive, and then now it's 70 grand.
Wow, they really want to squeeze.
But the buyer still has the right though to get out because it's still conditional upon the builder's approval.
Yeah. So the lesson is make sure it's conditional on lawyer approval. Okay, so we're back for training 10:30 Wednesday in person and online.
Yep.
And then this session will be on YouTube as well. Any closing remarks, Claire? Or
Let's have fun.
get back to work. Okay, have a good week, guys. Take care.